I am so tired. I'm so tired of all the negative things that are going on in the world today. I rolled out this morning. The kids had the morning news show on. Bryant Gumbel was talking about fighting in Lebanon. Some senator was squawking about the bad economy. It's going to get worse, you see. We need a change in policy. There's a local paper rolled up in a rubber band. One more sad story, one more than I can stand. How I'd like to see the headlines say, not much to print today. Couldn't find nothing there to say. Because nobody robbed a liquor store on the lower part of town. Nobody OD'd. Nobody burned a single building down. Nobody fired a shot in anger. Nobody had to die in vain. Sure could use a little good news today. Fellow Toastmasters, those are lyrics from a song that came out in 1983. It was 34 years ago. And let me tell you what was going on in 1983. The U.S. Embassy in Beirut was bombed, killing 63. The Irish Republican Army was a terrorist group that was wreaking havoc through the UK and set off a bomb during a pre-Christmas shopping season in London. Africa was seeing a lot of famine through their drought, and nearly 4 million people had died due to hunger. And Hurricane Alicia blew through the Texas coast, killing 21. Sound familiar? Because not much has changed in the 34 years. The IRA has been replaced with ISIS. They're still bombing public places. And Hurricane Maria, she had her own havoc this year, didn't she? Now, there's not much we can do about, or it's very, very unlikely that one of us will be able to stop a terrorist attack. And there's not much we can do about Mother Nature other than prepare for it and hopefully come together afterwards to clean up. But there is something you can do to change the life of someone today, something that you have the power to do. When is the last time you can remember that somebody did something nice for you or that you did something nice for someone else? And I'm not talking about, and a nice tie today, or Emma, see you got a new haircut, it looks great. I'm talking about doing something so extraordinarily nice and unexpected that it catches somebody by surprise and really changes their moment or their day or their life. We all have the power to do that, and I'm here to try and inspire you to do that. One of the reasons, when I talk about not much has changed today, it's true, not much has. But the one thing that really has changed is the way we get our news today. Back in 1983, it was from a newspaper and from the local news. But today, we have 24-hour news channels. We have social media that is just inundated with bad news, most of it not even real. We can't even log on to Facebook anymore, which used to be a pleasant place to go without seeing somebody bullying or some negativity going on. Twitter's not so much fun anymore, and Instagram just doesn't do anything for me. Eerily enough, 1983 is also responsible for this, because in 1983, the cell phone came out and the internet was created. Although it would be several years before any of us had a cell phone, and at least a decade before we really knew what the internet was. So today, what I'm challenging you to do is shut down your social media and think of doing something nice for somebody. Let me give you a couple examples. Every Thursday, Christy and I carpool to work. And we always go through Caribou for our coffee. We go through the drive-through. We get up to the window and we pay for our coffee, and then we pay for the coffee behind us. And today, we left a little note for that person behind us as well. It just said, have an awesome day. Spread a little kindness everywhere you go. That little act of kindness impacted the life of at least 4 people. Christy and I got a kick out of it. That cashier thought it was great, and I can only imagine what the person behind us felt when he got his free coffee. That's something you can do every day if you want to. Another thing that we've done recently is a project called the Kindness Rocks Project, and you all have one of the rocks in front of you. This isn't something we started, this is something that's going on internationally. And the premise behind this is to take an ordinary rock, paint it with something nice, and leave it for a stranger to find. There's a couple rules behind it. You can't leave the rocks in a national park. You can't throw the rocks, particularly at your speaker. It has to say something nice, so nothing like Packers suck. You can take the rock that's in front of you and you can keep it if it inspires you, if it makes you feel good. Or you can give it to a friend, or you can leave it someplace for someone to find. We've painted dozens of these rocks and we've left them in the downtown area. Some of them are on park benches, bus stops, steps, timekeeping machines put on top of that. The little button that you hit to walk across the street, it's a perfect place for some small rocks. And strangely enough, we've had a couple stories that have made their way back to us. We had one individual that was having a particularly bad day, and she went to clock out for the day and found a rock on top of the timekeeping machine that said faith. And it really inspired her. She carries that rock in her purse today. She was so excited about it that she Snapchatted a picture of it to her sister. Her sister then thought it was so great, she sent it to her supervisor. Her supervisor sent it to me. Of course, I got really excited. I sent it to Christy, and lo and behold, it was a rock that Christy put out that day. We had another individual that was suffering from multiple myeloma, and she was out of work receiving treatment, and the entire time she was out of work, she had her happy place that she would go to, and her happy place was a beach. She had envisioned this beach in the Caribbean, and she kept telling herself, when this treatment is done, I am going to go to my happy place. I'm going to go to that beach and actually relax and celebrate when this was done. When she got back to work, she found one of the rocks. It happened to be a beach scene, and it said, "Life's a beach." She keeps it on her desk every day, and it inspires her. Anytime she's having a bad day, she goes to her happy place. Another individual was taking their kid to R&R. It's a kind of a daycare for sick kids at Mayo. Her child was 4 years old, found one of the painted rocks on the steps going up into the building. So excited about it, she didn't want to give it away. So they went and got their own paint pens and painted some rocks themselves. And so part of this is spreading a little bit of kindness. We all have the power to do that. It's not something that's going to take a lot of your time. In fact, I have the paint pens. All you need is the rocks. So if you ever want to borrow them and spread a little love, just let me know. I'll bring them in for you. Put something kind on the rock, something inspirational, something silly, or just a nice drawing. The other side effect from this that really surprised me is how good it made me feel. Not to give the rocks away, but think about it. I'd sit there for a couple hours on the weekend painting rocks, and the sayings would say things like, everywhere you go, leave a little happiness. Dreams are for chasing. You're awesome. Be a nice human. When you're saying those things to yourself constantly for 2 hours straight, guess what? You start to believe it. So it's the ultimate kind of self-talk, right? So if you want to lighten yourself a little bit today, try painting some rocks or buying some coffee for somebody. It's going to make you feel a lot better. It's going to spread a little kindness throughout somebody's day, and hopefully that person will then turn around and pay it forward, because we sure could use a little good news today. Adam, tell us that.